what the fuck is going on?
Yes, exactly.
Exactly. What the fuck?
All right, everyone. Welcome to the Hawkins Community Pool.
Get ready to dive on in.
Bonus episodes for Skull Rock Broadcast. We are so excited to hang out with members of our community, and we're super excited for our first ever guest on this, which seems appropriate because you were literally our first ever guest on the show.
Yay. That's so exciting.
Yeah, so it's appropriate for sure that this is our first Hawkins Community Pool episode. And we have Kelly with us today.
Hello. It's going to be a good one. Just know it. Lots to discuss.
Welcome back for sure.
Yay. Thanks for having me.
We're going to be spilling the tea.
So much tea.
We have so much to talk about. It's overwhelming. We had like a general plan for this episode, but we might have to just like scrap all of that.
Just kind of went to shit.
Yeah.
And, like, what has happened these last 48 hours? I was like, I'm so confused.
Yeah.
Just so confused.
Exactly. So, of course, we are talking to Kelly, who is at djo Daily on Instagram. And we're going to talk about Joe and all of this Joe drama. We have to break it down, try to figure it out, see if we can try to make it make sense. I don't know if it's going to get there yet. It's all been a little bit absurd.
So absurd.
So give us like the lowdown, I guess.
Oh my God. Okay. So I guess like everybody's kind of always known, like Joe doesn't use social media. He says that and we kind of always knew that he didn't use the Joe Time account, like whatever. So then I think it was like May, all of a sudden, this Corey person pops up and is like, I'm going to be the new like social media coordinator or whatever. And he typed like this long ass paragraph and it was too much. My initial, like, even when reading it, I was like, this is bullshit. That's Joe. I was like, you can't fool me. What the fuck is going on? And then, because he did like Corey with an E, right? That was like my first clue. And then he posted again the next day and there was like Corey without an E. And I was like, okay. I was like, is anybody else seeing this? Or I felt like I was going nuts because everyone was like, what are you talking about? Like, he just hired. I'm like, no, you guys, this is not how a social media manager works. They don't talk about themselves. I was like, I am like, this is absurd.
Kelly, you were discovering things that I wasn't even thinking of, but you were like, no, I read bullshit right away.
I was like going through and I was like, the way, what is it? The ellipses, is that what it's called? He would use 4. And I was like, wait a second. I was like, I remember from the Reddit AMA when Joe would talk, he would use 4 ellipses. I was like, you can't fool me.
Yeah. And it's too absurd that it's over the top. Like, I was like, this has to be some sort of bit, some sort of like alter ego, like we've talked about a little bit. Like some sort of persona that's being created here. But then then photos, then he had a face. Like Corey has a face. We've seen Corey.
I have a theory that like, I think that like whoever's idea this was, they were like, okay, let's play it. And then immediately I was like, no, who is this? And they're like, shit, now we have to like find somebody's face to be Corey. So then they found, I don't know who he is. I don't know what, Then his Instagram popped up and that started a whole other thing.
Yeah.
Because I was like, these black and white photos. You know who likes black and white photography? Joe
Curie.
And why is that a picture of Calgary in the mountains, Corey? And then the one picture with the selfie
reflection.
I was like, Corey's skinny as hell. I was like, that is not Corey. I was
like, blew my mind when you're like, look at it. It's the same baseball cap.
Yeah. He holds his thing like this. He's like,
yeah, you're not fooling anybody, Mr. Carey.
And I think it's the hat that he's wearing in the photos when he was hanging out with Post Animal, right?
Like the one with that like design on it.
Yeah. Like you can tell that he's wearing that in the reflection in that photo.
Oh,
but
Joe.
I mean, I got like so much shit on Twitter for it. Everyone was like, you're an asshole. Like, what do you mean? This is stupid. I was like, you guys, Joe's like cool about his music, but I was like, he's still a professional, and his team there's not gonna have somebody coming on here being like, yo, it's Corey, I'm a slay. I'm so glad to have this job.
Right.
I love that you were able to figure out the horse hoof videos right away. I was like,
because that was from an interview, right?
Yes, the one that he did, the TikTok in real life where he's like, I like to watch like cow hoof cleaning. I was like, videos or whatever. I was like, well, why are those in there?
Well, that compilation that got put together, posted by quote unquote Corey, included those videos. But then when people called out those videos, Corey was like, oh, I didn't mean to include those. That was a mistake. Like, I was like, no, that was the most intentional thing in that video.
and I was also like, these are the worst fucking videos I've ever seen. Who approved this?
Yeah.
I was like, this is fucking, I was like, what is happening?
It was so absurd. There was like a monkey or something.
It was borderline cringe because ever since he got rid of the uncle, like Jesse or whatever, like his personal Instagram, it's been just the band, RIP, such a time to be alive. But like since it took over for the band, it has been pristine, crisp, very professional. And I'm like, who's this asshole? I'm not trying to call Kiri an asshole, but I'm like, dude, you just like, what the fuck, you know?
I was like literally breaking it down. I was like I was like, okay. I was like, there's so much to unpack here. And first of all, he also sucked at his job because like he never posted anything. I was like, why are all the fan pages posting news?
Exactly.
And Corey's out here in front of Electric Lady.
Yeah. Because Corey was pretty busy because Corey was Joe.
I was like, Corey without the E, Corey with the E. Joe, DJO.
No E. Yes, no exactly.
I was on like a whole thing. Like I have screenshots. I was like, this don't make no sense. I was like, what's happening?
There was kind of like there was like kind of like a lull for a little while where I feel like we had all just kind of like accepted it. We're like, okay, Corey, we'll hear from Corey once in a while. It's gonna be
sorry, Corey.
sort of cringy, but like I don't know. Like him calling Joe King, like that was like,
oh my god,
very cringy as well. But then he had like on his personal Instagram like a photo of a crown, like as like one of the first photos that he posted. So I was like, this is all connected. Like
remember when you know the movie with Glenn Powell, which by the way, Twisters, loved it.
Oh my gosh, I know. I'm right there with you. Stacey hasn't seen it yet.
Watch it.
It's on my list.
He posted like a story of watching a movie, and it was the Hitman movie with Glenn Powell. What does he do in that movie? He plays a bunch of different people.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet, but I need to watch that like ASAP.
And didn't Sean Levy direct that? Am I making that up?
Richard, no. Oh my God.
Richard Linklater.
Who directed School of Rock.
Oh, his favorite movie. So Joe probably definitely enjoyed that movie.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
We were going to talk about all of the recent interviews because there's been so much. I feel like the first time we talked to you on our podcast, there was nothing. It had been crickets for years from Joe.
I was like, nothing's gonna happen. I'm like Rip Van Winkle.
Yeah, we were scraping the bottom of the barrel. Like he had done like one podcast in the past year, like that we had to go on. And then all of a sudden, with the success of End of Beginning, with the release of Marmalade and Fargo, he suddenly was everywhere. And I haven't even been able to keep up with all of the interviews.
Oh, no.
So that was why I was like, let's pick a few of the interviews, deep dive a little bit into them, give people a recap, tell them why they should watch them, why they were entertaining, anything that we like picked out that was interesting from them. So, I mean, we can still talk about that a little bit, but I'm bringing that up because you noticed the interview that you wanted to talk about today was the Apple Music interview with
Zane Lowe.
Zane Lowe, yes.
That was literally probably one of my most favorite interviews, and I could tell that he really liked it as well. Like it was really like that was like the best part of this whole End of Beginning thing was getting to hear him actually talk about his music.
Yep.
Not that I don't enjoy hearing about Stranger Things when that's like the focus, but when it's solely on his music and he gets to sit there and break it down,
Yeah.
it was so nice to actually get to hear that like perspective. But because I'm a psycho and I remember everything, Corey again posted the egg.
Like an egg breaking. Yeah.
Were you able to break apart those emojis? Because I was like,
someone was like, what if that's like passive aggressive? Like it's showing that he's like a monster and he's gonna let shit hit the fan and it's only like a matter of time. I don't know. Or it could have just been like Joe's like, let me pick some emojis that no one will be able to figure out. Ha ha ha.
The egg became a connection to both that interview that you noticed and then also the cover of the remixes that just came out today.
And the guy who did it, I think he's like Animate Jack on Instagram. Oh, he did the D-sides one. He did the
little bean thing.
Yeah, and the one that Corey posted that's not done yet with all the characters.
Ooh.
He did.
Okay, yeah.
But I'm watching the interview and they're talking and this is like an expression that I mean, I don't know. I've never really used it before in the context that it's used, but he talks about with Decide, like, and then with making music that you have to like break a lot of eggs. And I was like, you've got to be fucking kidding me.
Yeah.
Like, and he talks about how like sometimes, you know, you're gonna screw up and then sometimes you're going to make like it's gonna work out, happy accidents, and it's all, and I was like, oh my God. WTF.
Yep.
I mean, this is like Swiftie level of like,
yeah.
And it's probably not even that deep, but it's also like such a random like thing to say, and then for it somehow to come back around. I was like, what are they trying to tell us?
Yeah, because then the cover of the album, the remixes that came out, is like the 8-ball. Broken, sort of like an egg with like the water and the little thing that looks like a die, but is the thing that has like the words on it inside the magic 8-ball, kind of like laying there. So that symbolism was really cool. But I love that you found that connection. And then in that same interview, something that always I keep coming back to, and it kind of goes with that other picture with the characters that you just brought up, like all of the different like points of view and characters that he kind of like can create through his music. Because in that interview, he says like he learned that the music doesn't have to come from him necessarily. He's making it, but it doesn't have to be his point of view. He can tell the story through like someone else's point of view, which is kind of exactly what has been happening on social media.
Exactly. So. My theory from the beginning, and it's funny that it played out the way it did, was I was like, here's what I think is going to happen. Corey's going to fuck up really, really bad. Something's going to happen. And I was like, and Joe's going to be like, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to come back and I'll take care of it myself. And that is exactly what happened. And I was like,
yeah.
Yes.
So explain to me a little bit what the fuck up was. Like, was it that he posted that voice note thing and he wasn't supposed to post it?
Yeah. So like,
okay.
Because it said, well, I clocked it right away because like the way it was cropped, again, like, I mean, I'm not like a professional, but like when I post things, like I make sure they're cropped right. Like, so there's not stuff in it. Like they left the title in there that said like EOB remixes. And I was like, oh, okay. And then, but listening to it, I was like, this does not sound like end and beginning.
It didn't at all.
No. So then I was like, oh shit. But then what made it worse was that he started replying to people as Corey, like
on that account,
on
that post. So, okay. See, I missed that.
Oh my God.
You're gonna have to send me some of the screenshots. Like I didn't see it.
I didn't see any
of those comments.
But, okay, the funniest one was when someone was like "K pasta," like, which is, and he was like, I don't know what that means, and I was like, this is not happening. I was like, this is not happening. And then I was like, and then someone was like, is this like, are these the remixes? What is this? And he's like, oh shoot, I think I like really messed up. You know, I think this is really bad. I don't know how I'm gonna get myself out of this. And I was like, dude, if this was real,
don't
would have just been like,
take it down and that's it.
Yeah. But it was for engaging. It was for the bit. It had to have been for the bit.
Totally.
And didn't you say, Kelly, like, you looked this guy up? Isn't he a character actor?
He's something.
Like a writer or...
Yeah, like, I don't know. I won't, like, say real names for, like...
Yeah.
But I don't know if it was, like, 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 maybe, like, they just hired the face, or, like, maybe it's, like, they do work, and they just needed... They're just like, we need somebody to be a face. So,
Right.
but I don't know, because
it did
like...
seem like he was actually at Electric Lady with Joe.
Yeah.
Like, he filmed himself, like, his face, selfie style, and Joe was right behind him. So unless that was some really good photoshopping, I do think he was in the studio with Joe.
So, Kelly, would you say it's either two things? Either this was like an intern, you know, a social media guy that just sucked at his job and fucked up, or do you think it all has something to do with something that Kiri's planning for his next album, or a mix of between the both?
At first I was like, oh, maybe he just sucks. But then, like, once Joe came and posted the story and was like, I'm going to take the reins, which I thought was funny, because again, it's looping back around to horses, which I don't know. Is it going to be a country music album? I don't know. I don't know. But I was like, the wording and everything, like, is just so specific. And I was like, no, this is all... Because like, he's talked about Andy Kaufman before. He's talked about, like, characters. I was like, is this like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. whatever, like that kind of thing? Like, I don't know what the significance is with Corey specifically, but it's definitely a bit. It has to be. No one's that messy.
Like, is Corey the villain that comes into town and he's the cowboy that has to fight him? Who knows, you know?
I was like, ooh, they're beefing. I was like, what if Corey, like, goes on the Joe Time account and then, like, starts fucking with it? I was like, this could get really funny if they let it. And I was like, I'm curious, because then that account that tweeted, who's Corey? So it's like, it's a thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is happening? I was like, this is...
Yeah, because I'm sure that, well, in all of the stuff that's come out since the remixes dropped, people are commenting about Corey, because it's like the buzz is there. People are curious about Corey. So it's like, in the comments, you're like, is Corey okay? What happened to Corey? Is Corey fired? So I'm sure that this person who made this remix for Joe's music is seeing this. So it's like, A, he genuinely, like, curious about what all these comments about Corey are, or it's kind of like, I would hope that Joe would, like, let them into the joke so that they wouldn't be confused. But, like, I don't know.
But then I'm like, I don't know. It's the weirdest thing. And I'm like, I was like, what does he do? How is this playing to a new album? Except unless it's like, I'm going to shed that whole disguise, which...
Yeah, okay, it's time, baby girl.
So the
yeah, seriously.
The other thing, when he posted, like, on his story, Joe Time, hey, Joe here, something that I, like, zeroed in on was he said pretty puzzled about the recent approach taken with the Joe Time accounts. Like, it's all a puzzle.
Okay, Jigsaw. Like,
the thing is that, like, and I'm not trying to, like, be like a dick, but I was like, clearly he wants to have fun, and, like, but everyone is like, God forbid you, like, question it. They're like I got a lot of shit for it. I was like, you guys cannot think that this... I was like, this is not professional. I was like, that's the bottom line. And I was like, and there's no way that his manager would be like, okay, like, why do you keep talking about yourself in these really long-winded captions?
Right. And they had to know about it. Like, he had to, like, a friend or a family member or somebody that follows his Joe Time account would have told him about this if it was genuinely something that he wasn't aware about until now. Like, so it's like, I think either way, it was either unprofessional, and if Corey was real, then he was really cringe and like, kind of fucked up.
Sorry, Corey, you suck at your job.
If it really is Joe and Corey wasn't real and he was kind of this character, then we were right all along about that too.
I was like, I know I'm right.
Yeah.
I gotta admit, Kelly, when it first happened, I was like, oh, that sucks. Because I think when I saw, like, a preview for Fargo back in November, I tagged him and he reposted it, and I was like, he is me. So then when, you know, the Corey thing happened, I was like, ah, damn, you know, even though it's rare that a celebrity actually runs their page, but I was like, it was his music. And then as soon as the next day when you broke it down for me, I was like, holy shit. I think you're right.
Maybe it really is.
You made me a believer instantly because I was like, no, this is too convenient. And I think, I don't know, maybe he saw Taylor Swift drinking from a water bubbler and was like, she's got some good ideas, this girl. She's got some good ideas, you know? And man, like, and he's telling stories. I mean, he did it with 2020. He did it with Decide. So I really do hope it's a country album. I mean,
look, he had a lot of time up there in Calgary to do God knows what. Listen.
Put the cowboy hat on, Joe. Give the people what they want. Yeah.
Well, it's funny because another one of the interviews that I wanted to talk about was the Switched on Pop podcast.
Love that interview.
That interview is so good because they literally sit there and like the guy plays clips of Joe's music and then they like talk about it like so in depth. So like you said, again, he really got to talk about like the logistics and the nitty gritty of his music.
So passionate.
And that guy is really cool. He was like saying that End of Beginning was sort of a country theme,
like a storytelling.
Yes, because it's like nostalgic for the place that you're from or a place that you spent a lot of time in. That sort of like a country trope is what he called it.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, maybe he's going down that road a little bit.
And country music's big on storytelling. That's like they tell stories.
His voice is perfect for it too. It's got like that twang to it a bit. As I'm saying, the guy is from Massachusetts. It's got a twang.
I mean, obviously, we're going to be super excited no matter what it is, I think.
I can't wait.
It's going to be amazing. But I think that I really just want this whole saga to kind of like get tied up with a bow and be like, this was what it was. Like, this is why it happened. But I don't know if I'm going to get that. Like, I feel like I'm going to have to, like, be okay with, like, a little bit of non-closure. But, like, I was like, I need closure here. Like,
I need them to be like, you knew from the beginning. You figured it out. There you go.
Places the cowboy hat on your head. Yep.
Like, no, I think it's all going to make sense. I think it's all going to amount to something. What? I have no idea. I try to figure it out. I have no idea.
Now, Kelly, you mentioned something earlier in your socials. You think the Decide era is like the End of the Beginning era is like done now because symbolism of the 8-ball breaking. You think this is like his segue into something new?
Well, that was like another thing was that I was reading like remember when he comes back, Corey comes back on the account, but he posts under the Joe account about how he screwed up, and certain things that he like says just sound like lyrics to me.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I hate to admit there's egg on my face, but I've really put my foot in it with this post. And this is where I was like, everything that could have gone wrong went right, but the one thing that couldn't go wrong did. And I was like, sounds lyrically like something he would talk about.
Yeah. No, that's 100% like Joe song lyrics. Like,
and he's like, and the job's not that simple. And it's why I hold myself like to such high standards. And there was another one about like life's throwing you curveballs. You can't hit them all. Life's a game.
Yeah.
I was like,
these are...
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to bring up another interview because...
More puzzle pieces.
Okay, so the Wonderland photo shoot, for one thing, is incredible. So thank you, Wonderland.
Thank you.
Can't wait to get that in the mail.
Exactly. But if you go on Wonderland's website, they do have like the beginning of the interview, which is kind of fun. And it's not the full interview. We have to wait until we get our magazines in the mail to read the full thing. But it's Joe talking to John Hamm, his co-star from Fargo.
I wish we could have seen him and John more.
I know.
Outside.
Yeah. I wish that they had
so funny.
more time to do like press together for Fargo or something like that.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
He 100% should have been nominated, and it's absolute 100% bullshit that he was not.
Yep.
I know.
I agree. The disappointment I felt because this was like, he's phenomenal and everything, but like, this was a role that I think set him apart from Steve Harrington for once. Like, it felt like he's standing on legs of his own. He's going to have a career after Stranger Things ends.
Yeah. Oh,
and
absolutely.
He just played such an unlikable but then sympathetic character that when the nominations came out, mind you, everybody who got nominated, very well deserved, but the fact that he got robbed, I was like, you should be nominated for an Emmy for this fucking jigsaw that you're leading us on, this adventure.
Yeah. Choose your own adventure.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I cannot.
I wish that like this was like something that we could have watched them have this conversation, but apparently it was like, you know, just Joe was sitting in a parking lot doing the interview because he said that his dad had picked him up from the airport and they were going to Cape Cod to surprise his family. But they were talking about how like Joe Keery finishing up with this role of like Steve Harrington was similar to John Hamm finishing with Mad Men and like saying goodbye to that character. And they talk about how with Stranger Things, it's been a little bit different for season 5 because he's kind of like going in and out of filming, which we've seen because it's not as like busy. So he doesn't have to be there all the time. And that was kind of interesting. But apparently, and it doesn't go into the conversation too much, but apparently they talk about imposter syndrome. John Hamm was apparently giving him advice. This was all in like the intro. So we don't actually get to that part of the interview. We'll have to read it when we get the magazine. But apparently John Hamm was kind of giving advice that like sometimes you're just in the right place at the right time, but also like you rise to the occasion, you work hard, like, and you do deserve it. So it was just kind of like very similar vibes to like those song lyrics.
Yeah.
Things going right, going wrong. So.
And then another Corey posted after he, you know, fucked up. He posted a story of what, like a light bulb or something?
Yeah, like needing an idea in the 25th hour. Yeah.
I was like, that's a clue and that's like a song lyric because like the 25th hour means like you're desperate, you're at the very end. And then he went and posted Dory, and I was like, please.
Yeah, just keep swimming.
Just keep swimming. I'm like, you're unemployed if this is real.
I'm face palming.
Yeah. Jesus.
I'm like, bro. You better just I can't.
Yeah, it's been
Gypsy
a wild
Rose
ride.
Blanchard does social media better than Corey does.
Yeah.
I cannot.
Oh my gosh.
So good.
I just don't know if Joe would really be that cringy. That's the only thing.
Maybe he's playing a cringy character for the album.
That's what it is. It has to be, right?
Like if you go way, way back, his uncle, like
his Uncle Jesse or whatever.
Oh,
he was like, he's like, these birds are in love.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are you, what? Or like, there's literally, I remember, and I think it was either, sorry, he's brushing his teeth and he spits on like the sidewalk. And I'm like, bro, ew. But like, so like, you can't, nothing
you
shocks
know, his
me.
manager was like, okay, you're starting to really take off. You're going to need to wipe this all clean. Because I was devastated because it was right before season 4 hit that I loved following him throughout the season 3 era. He was hilarious. But he was a little cringy. And then as soon as I logged on, I was like, what's this? Why is he wearing a Maya Hawke wig? Like, what's going on? And luckily I discovered the band thanks to you guys. But yeah, it's just, I think he's definitely got a twisted sense of freaking humor. And, you know,
he said, let your freak flag fly. Well, I can't say it, but he did say that.
Let your Corey flag fly.
He said that he likes people that I can't remember what interview, if it was either a print interview, it was something where he talks about how he likes people who use the internet just to be weird.
Yes.
True.
We need to write down that quote.
Which I'm going to say, guys. So I went on that TikTok interview of his.
The one that I said is annoying.
The one where she said, to Joe, I was like, I'm going to fucking
God.
I was like, that is my brand.
Talk about somebody who should be unemployed. No offense to this woman. That you could just tell, like, I'm pretty good at reading people's faces. I go into a lot of parent conference meetings when literally she was like, you don't know what that is? You don't know what that is? And finally goes, no, I don't. And like, I was like, he's done with her bullshit. And then when she's like, you could open up any kind of, and he's like, Rainforest Cafe, and I'm like, tell me you're a millennial without telling me you're a millennial. He wanted to get out of there.
Is this, there's the one that was the hits one, and then there was the TikTok in real life. The TikTok in real life one was the one where he talks about like the maps, and he actually laughed. And
no,
like,
this is the other one. This is the other one. Yeah.
I fucking... And I use all of the pictures from reaction memes where he's like,
yep.
Yeah. He's like looking like, I was like, what is this?
He couldn't wait to get out of there. Like, literally, he was like, all right, just 2 more minutes. And he's a pro. Like, you've seen him laugh during a lot of like people who are struggling to get through the interview. But that one, that was a choice. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
There's a few where like I won't watch. That's one of them.
Yeah, no.
The other one, I was like, no, like, and then she was talking about how like he talked about how he has no furniture, and she's like saying, I was like, what the f are you talking about?
He's in his plant room. Hello.
Right.
Which I know this is a little off topic. Do you think, I really liked the slow down versions of all of his music? I know a lot of people were like, oh, it's repetitive. I loved it.
I love it.
Now I'm hate myself because right away I was like, I was up very late last night. I was like, Megan, because she was editing our last episode, and I went, you listen to the remixes? And she was like, yeah. And I go, can I listen to them on iTunes? And she just went, Spotify, Stacey. And I went, oh, okay. Is the slowed down versions on iTunes or Spotify?
On Spotify? I don't know.
No, they're only on YouTube.
Damn.
Okay.
Those were pretty.
Because he did that with 2020 as well.
Did he? Okay. I really dug those. Those are cool.
Yeah. They're really cool.
Which interview was it that he really seemed to get along with the DJs, and he talked about how much ET scares them to death? And we're all like,
the Zane Lowe. Yeah.
Zane Lowe.
Yeah.
Loved that.
Oh, okay. E.T. the can't.
I love that he mentioned it again too. He was like, movie that scared me. He's like, Men in Black.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're showing your age, and then he goes, an E.T. And I'm like, I
feel exactly the same way.
Georgia.
Yeah,
love it.
Just run towards him, you know.
Men in Black was also terrifying to me. So Joe and I are on the same page.
I get it. I always say with music though, like when he released the playlist.
Oh yeah, let's talk about his playlist. Charlie's Garden. Are we talking about Charlie Heaton here? That's what I wanted to know.
I died when he posted it. Marvin Gaye.
Yeah.
Come on now.
First of all. And then Supertramp. And then but you guys know The Office, right?
Yeah. Goodbye, Kobe.
You know, goodbye, Toby.
Yep.
I was like, oh my God. And then Tom Jones.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like,
it really shows that because he mentioned once, he was like, I grew up listening to what my parents listened to, and that was all music. And I'm sure I'm speaking for you guys too.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
My parents listened to.
Yeah.
They love Supertramp. So I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And I heard it in Megan's car for the first time ever. And I went, he released this? What? When? It was so perfect.
Yeah. It came out with the Wonderland interview.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Electric Light Orchestra, who I'm seeing in September.
Right.
I'm
so girl,
excited.
You talked about that on our podcast when we originally talked about him.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was a song by them on his playlist. That was really cool.
And then we talked about how he doesn't put himself in a box. And then he said that in an interview, how he just kind of throws everything in and it works. I was like,
Joe, if you're listening, hi.
Hi.
Come be on
Thanks
our
for helping
podcast.
me get a new job. Because you got
congratulations on your new job.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, talk about the donation and everything.
Yes.
Oh my God.
We didn't get to talk about that on the podcast yet. That happened since then.
Okay. So it's funny the way it started was some things, because there's always internet drama. There's always things that happen.
Oh,
yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to use this situation. I'm going to do something good. I was like, I'm going to put good in the world. I'm going to like ignore what people say. And I'm going to do something good. So I was like, I work with kids. It's my life. I love it. So I was like, I donated to the Children's Hospital of Chicago. I donated in his name. I was like, I wanted to do it. And then I mentioned it to Nick, and I said, I hope it's okay. I was like, I just wanted to let you know, I did this, and I was just really inspired, and I just wanted to do something good, and just hope that was okay, whatever.
Yeah.
And then he asked me, like, the significance, like, well, why Chicago? Like, why
Children's Hospital. Yeah.
Yeah, and I told him, I was like, I'm in nursing school.
Yep.
I actually want to do pediatric oncology. And I was like, I was inspired and I wanted to do something nice. And he said that was the nicest thing he's ever heard. And then I didn't hear it. Like, that was it.
Yeah.
So then I didn't expect anything. I just did it because,
Want to pay it forward. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
pay it forward, put good in there, put good out in the world. And, sometimes it comes back. And these things always happen when I'm like in class or where I'm like in clinical and I see the t-shirt, the monster bee, which is so cute. Love it. And it said all proceeds go to charity. I didn't even look at where it was going. I was like, oh, let me buy one. And then I scrolled down and I saw that it was to the Children's Hospital of Chicago and then Nemours. And I was like, that's where I work. That's my job.
Yeah.
And I messaged Nick. I was like, Nick, what the fuck? And he was like, I hope you're popular at work or whatever. And I was like, wow. I was like, I can't believe it.
Yeah.
I was like, thank you so much. And what he said, don't thank me, thank him. And I started just.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That just goes to show you what a great guy he is. Like that. And we're not just saying this because we're hardcore fans. He really just seems like an average Joe who has a big heart. And anytime I do see footage of him meeting fans and their little ones, he's absolutely adorable and wants to make it a memorable experience. So I think that, honestly, Kelly truly tugged on his heartstrings and made an emotional connection with him, because there's another fan. She realized she met him in Germany and she gave him a silver bracelet. And he's been wearing it in a lot of his interviews. And I'd even messaged her. I said, I think that was a once in a lifetime thing. I said, because now he's going to be on gift overload and it's just not going to be practical for him to keep stuff. I said, but you made an emotional connection with him and he remembered that. And from what we've heard, he wants to meet his fans. He wants to talk with his fans. So I think him doing that donation, like always donating to children's hospitals, near and dear to my heart. So I think that goes to show you that, like, he's just a good guy. We need more actors and musicians like that pay it forward,
Then to be contacted by Nemours, and they were like, do you know, like, I kind of explained the whole story, and like they kind of told me how much was donated, like $4,000, which to them, for that, they said that was huge.
Yeah, that's life-saving.
Yeah.
It's like one of those moments and like one of those experiences that like you don't get, like that just doesn't happen.
You never expect it. Like you can't plan for it. Like it's just kind of serendipitous.
Yeah.
At first I was like, I felt weird, like saying like, no, this was because of me. But I mean, it's my hospital. Like it's just, and it was really just the cool, like it's just one of the most special things.
Yeah.
So one day I hope I get to thank him in person for it. Hopefully.
Well deserved, dude, because it's just, I don't know, that was just really nice. And like, not to get too deep, like, we haven't discussed Marmalade, but without giving away the twist, it's one of my favorites. I think it's one of the best written, best acted, performances of his.
So good.
I had a friend visiting recently, and like, I've seen this movie like 8 times already. I don't know if it's, it just tugged on the old heartstrings. If you know, you know. I burst into tears in the middle of it. And I was like, see? And I'm explaining what's going on the screen. But I'm like, that, like, I don't know. The projects that he's choosing between music, his donations, his movie roles, his TV work, I think he's got a good head on his shoulders, which somebody at that age, he could be living the LA lifestyle, but instead he's doing his own thing, and he's just staying true to himself. Like everybody said last summer when he visited Mass, they were like, I went to pick up my license plate in June, and literally my insurance company went, oh, he's actually from the next town over, because they saw my tattoos, and they went, oh yeah, he goes to a local florist and always buys his mom a ton of flowers. And I'm like, goddamn angel, where are his wings?
I can't. But then he goes and he trolls us all with his stupid Corey shit.
That's where he wears the horns.
Yeah, that's the monster side of him.
Yeah.
I can't.
So he's a cool guy, that's for sure.
He is, dude.
We love you, Joe.
Love you too. So happy you get to meet him. I hate you both, but I'm very happy for you.
Yes, well, we're taking you with us in spirit. And you'll meet him eventually. It'll happen.
Yeah, I think he's gonna.
Hopefully one day.
I think he's gonna, once he because I've heard he absolutely loved doing German Comic Con because it was his first Comic Con experience since
In a while,
2017.
yeah.
And they said that he had such a ball that I have a feeling after he meets people in Georgia, he's going to want to keep doing this circuit. It might not be all the time, but I think it will be maybe at least a yearly thing. Because I think especially when you bring up, because I saw in one of the interviews, somebody brought up Spree. He lit up like a goddamn Christmas tree. Because I think he's just, and you guys know me, I'm covered in Steve tattoos. Stranger Things is our life. But I think when you're asked so much about your hair and so much about the same project over and over again, it gets repetitive. When people bring up his music and actually have an emotional connection, or another role that he did was Against the Grain, I think he's so passionate about his art and his work. He gets excited, which is exciting to just watch,
Yeah. I'm like, we have a lot of pressure, everybody attending this convention in October. Like, we got to make it a good experience for him so that he'll continue doing it for other fans. Okay. Don't fuck it up, guys.
Don't fuck up, y'all.
But I think from what I know about, there's a lot of families attending, which I'm sure he's going to be super excited to meet kids who are the fan of the show. And there's a lot of people that are attending that really just are huge fans of his, and I think will definitely be respectful and hopefully not, say anything about his hair, because
oh my God.
Stop?
Literally, I saw an interview recently, it was an older one, where literally an interviewer goes, "Can I touch your hair?" And I'm like, that is just crossing so many boundaries. He's not a piece of meat. And then I guess the ongoing joke was, and Megan, you can edit this out if you want, there's the classic interview of him, Natalia, Joe Quinn, and My Hawk. And I guess first My Hawk's weed pen fell out of her pocket and they saw it and they thought it was funny. But he said right before they got started filming, he was like, "Watch they fucking bring up my hair." Because Joe Quinn has no poker face. As soon as they bring up his hair, you can tell he's cringing. And they're all fucking crying, laughing. Because, dude, we get it. He has beautiful, beautiful hair.
I'm not editing that out. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's true. Man, but you can just tell he's like, can we move on from the hair? That's why when he did Fargo, I was like, look at it all slicked back and stuff. He's trying to shed this image, and he even said it with Spree. He goes, right after season 2 of Stranger Things, I got 1 million offers to do romantic comedies. We'd love to see him in one. But as soon as he got the Spree one, he went, look at that. And I think that was the smartest career move he could have done.
For a second, we can tie Spree back to Corey.
Corey is very Spree coded. Yeah.
Very Kurt Kunkel. But he made so many videos as Kurt. I think that there's 1 million of them that we haven't even seen. That aren't even in the movie. They're just there. That's why I'm like, why are you guys shocked?
Right. That this would happen. Yeah.
Every time they show the one where he's standing on the road and the cars keep driving by.
And he's stopping to talk and he's getting frustrated. Dead.
Or when he's in the car and he's just like, I just don't know.
No, it's a numbers game.
I like the ones in his bedroom. I'm like, oh my gosh.
I'm gonna fuck you so hard. And then he looks and knows his door's open, shuts it. I'm like, yep. It's so cringe, but he was playing such
a Starbucks cup where it's spelled with his
dude, that kills me. Literally, everything was intentional. And he was literally playing one of those thirsty, and I think he was playing a Gen Zer for sure, just one of those thirsty social media people. So as soon as they were like, we have an idea about this Corey character, he was like, I'm your man.
Hold my beer.
Yep. Hold my Starbucks.
So when he's like, the Cubs can't stop me, the homeless people can't stop me,
and he's blowing them all down. I love that he's eating his Mexican fries.
And then I'm like, how did he get out of that? And I'm like, that's how I picture Corey after he got fired. He's like, you can't stop me.
This is the level of
just
cringe.
Keep swimming.
Remember when he goes up to order the tacos and he's flirting with the girl and he goes, sex tape. I could make a sex tape right now.
You're having fish on the bottom of the ocean, my friend.
Yep. It's so cringe.
So what about Pavements? What's your thoughts on the Pavements movie?
Okay, first of all,
that came out of nowhere, right?
Out of nowhere. I was like, when did he film this? When did this happen? He's going to go to Venice, finally. I was like, this is good.
Yeah.
This is good. But when the fuck did this happen?
Yeah,
Right,
when did
exactly.
he film it?
I don't know that we know. Who knows?
We'll see what happens. I mean, we'll all see it and support him, but like it came out of left field. You know, more content with him is even better. But yeah, I right away was like, what the hell is this? You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And we have cold storage.
Right.
I read the book. It's so good.
I have one of the lines from the book where he goes, I wander sometimes verbally. And I was like, oh my God, that's me. But no, that's going to be good. That's going to be good too.
I can't wait for that.
Yeah. I mean, that's Liam Neeson, right? Like, I feel like you can't go wrong.
The blonde hair. Yet again, it's from the writer of Jurassic Park. So like,
yes.
Come on now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just want a new album.
Yes, please. That's just what we want. New music. And it's kind of hard because I feel like I've seen the one interview, I don't know which one it was, where he basically is saying like he's planning to do a tour as long as like work doesn't get in the way kind of thing. So it's like,
damn.
Yes, I want you to get like good roles, but like, can you just not get some good roles for a while so that we can have a tour?
I'm putting this out there and I'm going to keep asking for it and I'm going to keep tweeting about it. And I'm not very subtle.
Let's manifest.
I want a listening party. And I want it to be invite only. Yeah, like I want to listen. I want something cool like that, like something like 'cause he talks about in that one interview that I love. He talks about like his really core, dedicated group of fans because his music's very niche. And I was like, okay, well then like let's do something for those like core group of fans that have kind of been here since the beginning. Like do something like that. Like that is such a special, cool thing. Like Taylor doesn't do them anymore because obviously for her safety and she's massive. But I mean, like people that have experienced like her listening parties, like in her home, like
that's insane.
Like it's like something like that. You just
so what you like go? You all congregate to one place and you listen to the new album with the person.
Yeah. So what she would do it because like back. She used to be she's still kind of, but she was very active on social media. Like she knew her fans. Like she would send them gifts. She knew them and she handpicked them to come to her house. I mean, obviously, like they had to be
screened and stuff. Yeah.
But then they would get to sit there with her and they would I actually have a friend who got to go to a 1989 one. You take pictures with her, you sit in her house and you play the music with her, you get to experience it like with her. And I was like, how fun would that be with this new album where it's been something we waited for? It's going to be new because it's like in a studio where he usually doesn't record in a studio. It's always been at home. Even if it's like really small, like it doesn't have to be massive, but like just something, it could be over Zoom. I don't care. Just something that's like for people who really have just been like, you know, dedicated. Like he's gonna hit 1 billion streams on End of Beginning by the end of the year. He's
kids bopped now.
Yeah.
Love it.
Love that.
And he was nominated for the Kids' Choice Awards. Like
because I had a whole 4th grade class vote for him. I was like, that's
he didn't win. No.
He didn't win?
No.
Bullshit.
I was like, I voted a ton.
I didn't vote because I wasn't a child, but that was great to get the class to vote for him.
So shade by Megan.
I did make my kids at summer school listen to the End of Beginning remix.
Oh, hell yeah. Is there anything new we can expect from your site or your Redbubble and stuff? Because I am living for it. Anything new that's coming down the line?
I just get like random ideas. Like I just posted one I made, like the friendship bracelet. I made a sticker of that.
Yeah, that's
cool. Yeah, I love that. Stacey, did you see the letter that Kelly posted? Biden's letter.
It was gloom.
I freaking died. So
I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
So good.
I was like, if elected, Kamala will make Joe say what happened between him and Corey. I'm like,
that was funny too.
Perfect.
And like that's like what a social media manager should be doing, like funny, like engaging stuff, like
yeah.
Right. And like if it's okay, before it was very professional, clean cut, that's fine too. Like that was fine.
At us and
it was fine. Yeah. But like I don't know, like make a broadcast channel, like post polls, like do engaging things.
Yeah,
Like,
do a live once in a while.
yeah. The Corey thing was, it was just, it was something.
I was so angry. And then I was
Rightfully
like,
so.
I'm like just watching it happen. And I was like, what the fuck is happening in real
He's
time?
like
I
a
was like,
train wreck. Yeah.
Yeah.
he was like, I can't believe I get to work with this guy. And I'm like, okay, bro, what?
Like it's 2024. This is
Yeah.
not the internet anymore.
Yeah, no. No. Oh, God.
Yeah, it definitely just was kind of uncomfortable at times. So I'm like,
It
can
was.
we
Major Kurt
get like,
energy.
yeah,
That's like the thing. And then like that's why I don't understand why some people like don't want to see it. I'm like, it's okay like to like admit that this could be a bit. I'm like, it's okay.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's okay to question things. Like the
right.
more it started with him, every caption was like talking about himself. He's like, oh, it's just gonna get faster, Corey. You just gotta keep posting. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? This is your job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you're not even good at it.
No.
He was the equivalent of Kurt ordering the tacos at the food truck. And we were all the girl in front of him. And you know how he's like, I can make a sex tape tonight. Know what I'm saying? And she just completely puts her back to him. That was us to Corey.
Yeah, we were just like, okay, we're just gonna like pretend this isn't happening.
Corey's like, tag me in that. Squirt's World.
God.
So you know how it said like officially Corey, like he made that page. It legit was created May 2024, right? And then he puts in the top that his old account
was hacked.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. And I'm like, let me look at this. And I'm like, that account, the face in the picture looks like a nice man with his wife, and it looks like their daughter. I was like, I don't think this is a hack. I think you just needed an alibi so that you could create a new
this
account.
Brand new account. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh, it's all a puzzle. It's all a bit
it's
like
all going to be paid off when he's wearing his cowboy hat. Don't worry, guys.
We're gonna get a payoff, and
yep.
I just want to be like told that I foiled it and fucked everything up by figuring it out on the first day.
Yeah. I mean, I think that they like expected
some of the hardcore fans to,
expected like talk about it.
Yeah.
That was one of the like, goals of it was to get people
talking. Yeah.
Yeah. And it worked. Like,
well, that's why like I dropped it after a while because I was like, okay, this is something that they want to roll with. Let's just kind of see where it goes.
Go with it, see what happens. Yeah.
The last one with the caption, I don't even remember, where he talks about how he's like, I slayed and delivered, and then everyone started bullying him. I was like, oh, cool, we can bully him again. Let's do it.
Like, let's jump back on this train. Yeah,
let's do it. I'm trying to connect it all and how it's all going to make sense, and it's going to come to me one day in my head as I think about it. But
you need to do that meme with like the guy with the board and all of the like string and everything.
Points and everything. Yep.
Yeah, make that meme.
That's me. I'm just trying to figure it out.
I just loved him being like hoof cleaning videos. I was like, I do that too. He's
weird. Like, I love maps.
Yeah, I love maps. Yep. I'm like, oh.
And then with I wanted to tell him, I'm like, bro, if you go to Atlantic City, the Rainforest Cafe is still there.
Oh, yeah. Come meet us there.
I literally want to be like the one at the Burlington Mall. Watch the one. That's the one he's talking about. Because, like, that's where I'd take a first date. Like, that's just, it's great ambiance.
Every 15 minutes, the tsunami comes. And
so if the date's sucking, at least you feel like you're in a 4D
there's
entertainment.
Movie. Yeah. That's what I was telling my parents about the 40X thing for Twisters. They were like, oh, it's like Disney World.
That's what I would have said, yeah.
That's where Corey's going to work next.
Yeah.
It's going to be Mickey Mouse.
Oh, my God.
And he won't be Mickey Mouse. He'll be like, I'm Corey in his Mickey Mouse outfit. And they're like, dude, you're fired.
I'm Corey the Mouse.
Killing the magic, bro.
Killing the magic, man. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. I think that's a good way to end it. Corey killed the magic.
Yeah, Corey did it. Yep.
But that's actually the first thing I said when this all happened. I was like, it took away the illusion where even if you knew it wasn't always him, it was still like fun to think, like when you looked at stories, like, you thought, you were like, okay, oh my God, like cool. But then like to think that it was like some fucking loser named Corey with an E or not without an E. Thanks, Mom. I was like, that took it away. I was like, this is such a bad move. So,
right. It like you said, it shattered the illusion. Like when Joseph Quinn looked at my story the other day, I could be excited because I thought Joseph Quinn actually saw my story. But
it could be, though.
It could be.
You don't know.
Not the British Corey, yeah.
Yeah, but then when it was Corey running the account, like, it's not Joe Keery actually seeing my stuff.
But what's funny is, like, when Corey supposedly took over, there was no more views.
He wasn't looking at stories. No.
It died a lot. Yeah.
I don't know that we spilled the tea because we have no idea what the tea is.
Here's the tea. Corey is Joe. Joe, it's Corey.
And it's all a character that he's playing.
Yeah, like maybe
a Western
Corey's
character.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe Corey stole his horse and then they're going to have like a shootout.
A duel.
At the corral. What is that? The
OK Corral.
OK Corral.
The Golden Corral?
The Golden Corral. The djo Corral. Boom. Oh
you
my
need
God.
to make some like Western inspired like designs ASAP.
We're inspiring you.
I should make like a wanted poster.
Yes.
But with Corey.
Do it right now.
Do it.
Wanted for fucking everything up.
Yep. For breaking all the eggs.
Yeah. This has been a
blast.
Yeah,
yes.
It's fun.
So much fun.
I had so much fun, guys. Thanks for having me.
Speak of the end and beginning, we have reached the end of our episode. You're welcome. Kelly, always a pleasure.
Yeah.
Love it.
We'll do this again
was so
soon.
Much fun.
For sure.
Oh, yeah. When we have everything revealed. And
exactly. When it all makes sense.
Yeah. When we figure it out. Bye, guys.
We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye, love. All right. That was a total blast. And I don't know about you, Megan, but the timing couldn't have been better. This is July 26th. So all the drama hit the day before on the 25th with Corey. So it was really, really cool to talk to Kelly because she is definitely a hardcore fan. And I had an absolute blast talking with you guys.
Yeah, Kelly's such a fun hang. We always enjoy talking to her and just nerding out about Joe and about these theories and stuff like that. So by the time you're listening to this, maybe there's more information. Maybe we figured some more things out. But if not, we'll keep you posted as soon as we know more. And it's definitely been a fun puzzle to solve. So shout out Joe Keery. You always entertain us. And if you would like to be a guest on our podcast, you can always join us at our Lovers Lake Deep Diver tier and be able to come join us on our podcast like Kelly did. Well, we appreciate her and we appreciate all of you for listening.
Come chat with us.
Come talk to us on social media at Skull Rock Broadcast, pretty much everywhere on social media. And I am Steady Stories. Stacy is Stay Still Reviews. And we just love talking all things Stranger Things, all of the cast of Stranger Things. Big fans of Joe Keery and his music, Joe. So yeah, we hope you enjoyed and we'll talk to you soon.
Over and out.
Over and out.